Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Jazzy and today I'm going to be reviewing yet another Korean television series, K-drama as they call it over there in South Korea. Now before I get into it, let me just give you guys a little observation. Due to issues with, you guys know that here on Telechaz I try to include clips of all the shows that I watch. You know, I try to give you guys a little bit more dynamic in the editing process, but unfortunately it's a bit more there is a different kind of bureaucracy when it comes to Asian television shows. I learned that the hard way when I was reviewing Crash Landing on You. I tried to do so many different versions with so many different clips from different sources and the video kept getting blocked, you know. So I'm going to do, whenever I review something Asian, I'm going to do it clipless. You know, it's just going to be me talking to you guys, unfortunately. But I hope you enjoy it anyway, okay? Oops, kind of got myself there, a little swallowed. But anyway, so here's the thing. This show is called My Shy Boss, or also known as Introverted Boss for some reason. I watched it on Netflix and it was called My Shy Boss, but literally everywhere else that I look it up, it says Introverted Boss, but it's pretty much the same, isn't it? Now, you guys will forgive me. I'm going to be using a cheat sheet here on my tablet because I cannot remember anyone's names, okay? Because they're all Korean. It's actually been a while since I've watched it, you know, so I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a rundown, a little review, because I actually really enjoyed this show a lot. So I didn't really want it to I just didn't want time to go by and me not recording a review. So here we go. But basically, it's a romantic drama of sorts, you know, and it's about pretty much the entire series revolves around a PR company. You know, this girl who unfortunately was a receptionist and decided to take her own life due to a lot of personal stress outside of work and also inside of it as well. And then her younger sister, in an attempt to get to the bottom of it, investigated and maybe even get some revenge for her older sis. She decides to get a job there, you know, in the same position, you know, at the PR company. But slowly she starts rising up, you know, and getting better and better and getting more recognition, and then she eventually falls in love with her boss, who is the same age as her, you know. And the boss character is pretty much the main protagonist of the series along with this other girl. They are both played by Woo-jin and Park Hye-soo. Let me see if I can find their names here. Okay, Yoon Hwang-ki is the boss, you know, character played by Yoon Won-jin. Then we have Chai Roo-won, who was played by Park Hye-soo, you know. And then we have a few other characters I can't remember. I can't remember anyone's names, man. There was this guy who was his name was freaking Oppa. The guy's name is Upa, you know. She kept like it's a very dramatic series at times, but because one of the characters' names is Upa, you know, his girlfriend or fiance keeps talking to him, you know. There were so many tense moments that I kept laughing because she kept saying Upa, Upa, Upa. Oh my god. But anyway, so the point is that, you know, this girl, she infiltrates the company, you know. She's actually an up-and-coming actress. She does theater and stage plays, you know. And then apparently the other guy is trying to connect with her to apologize for her sister, you know, because apparently there was this whole crazy thing where the boss is his best friend. I don't even know. Okay, no. So okay, here we go. I think I figured it out. Okay, it's Kang Woo-il is his friend, you know, who's the fiance of Hye-soo, you know, who is the sister of the boss character, you know. Now, can I find the sister's name? Can I find, okay, Chai Ji-hai, you know, who's the sister of the main characters. I'm obviously butchering a bunch of these names, guys, but it's Korean. I don't really speak Korean, okay? I'm learning Japanese and it's really hard, okay? So give me a damn break. But anyway, the point is that the companies, there starts to be a few things going around there, you know, because Hwang-gi's brother, Hwang-gi's friend, you know, the Kanga fellow, he's engaged to Hwang-gi's sister, who is the I can't do this. Okay, let me try to make this a little bit easier, okay? We have Hwang-gi, whose name I can't memorize. You know, he's the boss character. Then we have we'd have Chairo, who's the other girl, the extroverted girl who comes to work, you know. We have those two, and we have Kang, who's the friend, and then Yoon, who's the sister, okay? Let's just work with that, okay? Hwang-gi's sister Yoo is engaged to Kang, who's his best friend, you know. But the engagement isn't very pleasurable because Kang feels pressure. He doesn't really feel anything for her, and he actually had the hots for Chai-roo's older sister who was working there before, you know. And then through a series of events, you know, him becoming drunk and then her trying to help him, you know, he eventually ends up kissing her, you know, despite being engaged to the other girl. So he comes on to her and she obviously feels uncomfortable because she's a girl with family values and whatnot. But Hwang-gi actually sees it, he notices it happening, then he starts you know, he unfortunately misunderstands it severely, you know. He thinks that Kang is like, obviously he's cheating on his sister, and he thinks that the receptionist is actually in on it, you know. So, you know, he starts treating her very coldly despite them having actually had a good relationship up until then. And then unfortunately because of that, and then the reaction from Yu, who's the, is that how you say her name? The fiance of Kang, you know. Because of her reaction, you know, she says that she cuts herself in front of the poor girl, you know, she says she hates her. There's so much pressure, you know, on this poor girl's head, and eventually she goes up to the roof and jumps off. You know, she lands in a car, and that's how we start off the first episode. She unfortunately commits suicide, which prompts her younger sister and the family and a few other people to investigate what's happening. And despite this, despite such a heavy note kicking off the series, it actually is very lukewarm and family friendly, you know, because as the episodes go on, you know, the younger sister infiltrates the company, she gets a job there, and we get a few different character dynamics, you know. We have a bunch of other characters too who work at the PR company. I will not even bother to try to, you know, I don't know their names, guys, okay? It's a blur to me, you know, but there were a few different characters. There was a mom with a few kids who was very mature. There was another guy who was a little bit colder, and there was a girl who was very nice, you know, very, sort of, she had very low self-esteem. There was this other younger guy, you know. There was a bunch of different character dynamics, but I want to focus on the main characters, you know, who did propel the story forward in a lot of different ways. There are times when we see Hwang-gi, who's the main character of sorts, trying to get along with Chae-ro, you know, who's the new employee, but at the same time that she's there, she tries to find out what went wrong to make her sister, you know, decide to take her own life. But against everyone's better will and judgment, the two start to fall in love, you know, Chae-ro and Hwang-gi, because they are the same age. They do actually have similar tastes, and there are a few moments where they kind of flirt a little bit, you know. It's actually a very cute series, you know, much cuter than Crash Landing on You. But then again, Crash Landing on You had a lot more adults, you know, and this one is has a younger crowd, you know, so I'm guessing that South Korea wanted to appeal to a younger audience with this, you know, which was really cool. And the soundtrack is really nice. I actually saved the playlist on my Spotify because the songs are very catchy. Unfortunately, I think they were a little oversaturated. Like they play, like each episode, in case you guys aren't familiar with K-dramas, there's a certain kind of formula where there's only one season. There's the one season, and there are 16 episodes, and each one is about anywhere from an hour and a half long. You know, they really cram a lot of exposition into these episodes, and sometimes they would play the same songs over and over and over again multiple times through the episode in moments that I thought was a little unnecessary. But then again, it made the songs really glue to my brain, you know. I can't get the songs out of my head now, and I like to listen to them when I'm walking down to work in the sun, you know. But anyway, I think I might be getting a little bit off topic here. Now, because the series has so many episodes that are so long, you know, and there's so much crammed into them, it's very easy to get lost, especially because it's South Korean, so I have to watch it with English subtitles. I never watch anything dubbed. In case you guys don't know why, leave a link to the video explaining why. But the thing is that it's a little hard sometimes. Sometimes I have to rewind, and because I lose my train of thought. Like, if I stop paying attention for 1 second and I lose what the caption said, I have to go back and understand it. There are moments where I did feel genuinely lost, you know, but in general, it is pretty okay to pick up on it. It does make a bit of sense if you know what you're looking for. You know, if all of the context clues set up a scene to be a certain thing, you can already kind of associate it with what's happening, even if you don't really get what the caption says, you know. Now, it's very interesting because my only exposure to Korean culture has been K-pop, you know, listening to a lot of that, and BOA Kwan, who I consider to be the queen of Asian music, you know. So I do have a very small understanding of the language, but not enough to watch a show like this, you know, and actually understand what's going on. And I did do martial arts a long time ago. I used to do Tang So-do, which was a Korean martial arts, so I do understand a little bit of basic Korean, but it's not enough to watch this show without captions, for example. Far from it. But I still think it's very entertaining, you know, because they really intertwine the drama, the heavy and dramatic moments with some of the comic relief, and there's a lot of comic relief, you know. It's a modern day Korean drama, so it has a lot of there are a lot of slang terms, you know, and you can see a lot of the culture around, you know, young people today working at these companies, you know. So it's pretty much like it's like working at Google or something, or Microsoft, but I think Google is a better example, you know. So it's a very good way to give you a little bit of exposure, not only to South Korean culture, but also what it's like working at a PR company, you know, an advertising agency of sorts. And we get a lot of different dynamics, you know, and people, for some reason, the show is, I think that they're sponsored by Samsung or Motorola, you know, because like everyone uses Motorola phones without cases to make it clear that they're Motorola, and that phone sucks. Like, you're in South Korea, why don't you get a more modern phone? Like in Crash Landing, I knew everyone had I think the Xiaomi or the Asus, you know, a nice big sleek modern phone, you know, why use Motorola? But anyway, whatever, whoever paid for the bills, you know. But anyway, so there are many different key moments that make you feel like you're watching something a lot more serious than it actually is, you know. I'm gonna read for you guys the synopsis here just to get a little basic emphasis of it. So Yeon Hong-gi is the CEO of a public relations company, but he's extremely shy, and due to his personality, the employees don't know him very well. Then we have Chai Ro-woon, who starts working at the company, you know, and then she's very energetic and receives recognition for her good work, but she's interested in the CEO and she plans to reveal who he really is. The whole reveal of who he really is because she considers him to be responsible for her sister's suicide, you know, so she thinks that he's behind it, but she does know that it's actually Kang, the guy who's always, you know, well-dressed, and he's very outgoing, he's always participating in the meetings and treating people with respect, so we always think of him as the good guy behind this, and the shy dude is the one who's responsible for all of the problems, you know, until we find out that it was actually the opposite, you know. And that reveal is pretty crazy, but of course, because it's a K-drama, there's a happy ending, you know. I don't think they really know how to end shows on a somber note, especially except for what the hell was the name of it? I just finished watching it yesterday. Sweet Home. That was a very crappy Korean drama, you know, about monsters stuff. I'm not even gonna review that one, but anyway. But usually K-dramas have a happy ending when there's a romantic subplot. They usually resolve it, you know. Although Crash Landing on You, which I've made a reference to several times in this video, it ended. There were a few incredibly tense moments, you know, but it was very good. It was a very timeless love story, and I think that My Shy Boss is also a love story, you know, but the romantic elements, they feel a little bit more forced, you know, because you're dealing with a younger audience, a younger cast, so you kind of have to cram a little bit, you have to rush a little bit, you know. The romance didn't feel rushed at all. Like, I think that aspect was okay. I just think that the way they finished it was a little cheesy, you know, and it seemed like they were just rushing, you know, to get the last episode done, but meh. Now, the one thing that I didn't really enjoy too much was the character development. I think that it was very slow. It was very threadbare, you know. They had so much room to work on the characters, and some of them ended up starting the series one way and ending it in the same way. Like, some characters didn't change at all. One of them, I think, is a Hwang-gi, you know. In my opinion, he didn't change too much, you know. He's walking around dressed in black with his hood over his head like he's a freaking Grim Reaper or something, you know. And I think that Chai Ro didn't really change too much. She kept always being bubbly and friendly, you know, and outgoing, energetic, you know, sympathetic. Not that it's a bad thing, but I didn't really see too much of a change. She did gain a little bit more maturity, you know. She grew up a little bit more, you know, so she became a respectable young lady towards the end. But it was very you usually see it more through the flashbacks of when she was younger, you know, so I don't think that there was a lot of evolution there, you know. One of the secretaries actually did evolve. She used to be very introverted and very shy, had very low self-esteem. People would actually look down on her a lot, and towards the end she got a lot more confidence to speak her mind, you know, so I think that was a very good example too. I really wish I could remember some of the other supporting characters, you know, and how they fit into this, but unfortunately I can't. I can barely remember their names, let alone I can remember what they did and their roles, but you know, it's gonna take too long to talk about that, and I don't really want this to become too long of a review, you know, because my videos have been getting long enough already. But I think it was a good show, guys. And if you happen to like K-dramas, you know, Asian series in general, I definitely recommend this one. I'm pretty sure it's still on Netflix right now. And if you don't, well, don't watch this one yet. I don't think that if you've never forayed into K-drama territory, this is not the way to start. Go watch, for example, Crash Landing on You. I think it's much better. And there's actually another K-drama K-drama, you know, related to PR, which is called Startup. You know, looking at the aesthetic, it seems to be very similar to this one, but I'm also anxious to watch it as well. I think it's going to be really cool. I like K-dramas, you know, even though there's so much exposition, so much happening, you know, it's a lot to take in, but that's what it's like. There's so much to see, you know. I like that. I like having a commitment to watching a lot of content and then seeing everything get pieced together in the end. So that's really cool for me. So yes, and I think everyone was okay. Asians in general, not just Koreans, they really overact a lot. There's a tendency to overact. So the actors, sometimes the performances were very cringy. You know, everyone was very exaggerated. But I understand that that's a cultural thing. That's just their style. You can't see an Asian movie or TV show without this overacting. Although I think it's much heavier in South Korea. You know, but yeah, that's just how it is, you know. I honestly enjoyed it a lot, you know. It's not exactly my favorite. Like, I have to watch a few more K-dramas to make like a top 5 list, you know, but so far I would put it at second because it's just there, you know. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this short little review. I'm sorry I couldn't give you any clips, you know, in the middle of it all, but I unfortunately cannot, you know. I don't want my video to get, you know, blocked in different countries and all of that, and it's too much work trying to find the clips, you know, because they're not really available in the YouTube VPN domain that I have here. So yeah, but that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, drop a like. If you didn't, you can drop a dislike and tell me why, you know, and it's all good, guys. It's all good. I'm hungry. I really gotta eat something before recording the next video, if there's time. But anyway, that's it. This is Chazzy, signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.